At the county's office, I stood in the cold wind, waiting endlessly for the groom who never showed. Predictably, he had stood me up again. "Ethan, I'll wait for you for 10 more minutes. If you break your promise again, we're done. I told you I'd be busy today. Can't you be more understanding?" This was the third time we had planned to get our marriage certificate, and just like the previous 2 times, Ethan had ghosted me. The reason was always the same: Chloe, the one he couldn't have, needed him more than I did. And there was another thing: he thought I would always wait for him. In fact, the old Stella would have. I had loved Ethan for 5 years, and for 5 years, I was his backup plan. But he was too complacent, forgetting the rule of third time's the charm. This time, it wasn't him rejecting me, it was me choosing a better option. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. "Excuse me, miss, could you do me a favor? I'm missing a bride. Would you mind marrying me?" "Who are you? Wait. Marcus? What are you doing back?" As I spoke, my eyes welled up, and tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. I hadn't expected to be caught in such a vulnerable state by Marcus, nor had I expected the man who left 5 years ago to reappear at this moment. "Why are you crying? Still such a crybaby after all these years." There, stop crying. Tell me, who upset you? Was it Ethan?" I couldn't speak, just continued to cry and shake my head. Seeing me in tears, Marcus panicked. Ignoring my protests, he pulled me into his arms, fumbling to wipe my tears away. I didn't know why I was crying. Perhaps it was the joy of seeing an old friend again. Truth be told, when we were kids, I was always the one who picked on Marcus, yet I was always the one who ended up crying, and he was the one who got into trouble. Marcus was the son of Dad's comrade, and Ethan's cousin. Marcus and I had known each other since Chile. Dude, we were childhood sweethearts in our parents' eyes, and each other's most trusted person. But I always saw him as a younger brother, and he never showed any romantic interest in me. Later, through Marcus, I met Ethan and fell in love with him at first sight. After my persistent pursuit, we eventually got together. That same year, Marcus followed Uncle's footsteps and joined the military, leaving for 5 years. After so many years, the shy teenager I once knew had completely transformed. Now, he was handsome, rugged, and upright, a man who protected our country. After a while, my emotions stabilized, and Marcus asked a peculiar question. "Spill it. How many times has it been?" "Huh? What?" I pulled away from Marcus's embrace, looking up at him in confusion. Seeing my expression, he looked displeased but still added, "How many times has Ethan strung you along?" I understood now. He was talking about Ethan standing me up. I silently held up 3 fingers. "Stella, you're so stubborn to a fault. I don't know who you learned that from, always ending up hurt." Marcus pinched my cheek, looking frustrated with my choices. I knew he was concerned about me, but who was I? I was his elder, could I let him lecture me? Seizing his attention, I reached up and tweaked his ear. "Oh, you mischievous kid, you leave for years without contact, then come back and pick on your elder? I haven't settled scores with you yet. Come on, we're going home, and I'll deal with you there." Stop, my lady, have mercy. At least let me finish what I have to say before you attack." Just like in the old days, whenever I raised my hand, Marcus would beg for mercy. I always won our arguments, and he never got angry, even acting as my scapegoat without a word. "1 minute. Speak your mind, or hold your peace. It's freezing out here, let's go back soon." As soon as I finished, Marcus draped his jacket over me. You what? If you freeze out here, not only Dad and Mom, but even my own Dad would beat me up. Looking at the boy who had grown into a towering man before me, my eyes seemed to mist over, and I stubbornly tilted my head up. "Spill it, or I'm leaving." "What I just said, think about it, okay?" What? I said, "Dear Stella, I'm short a bride over here. Could I ask for your help to fill in?" "This you rascal." He suddenly bent down to my eye level, startling me. "Are you looking for trouble again?" I really couldn't understand Marcus's thought process, but I knew he was definitely in for a scolding today. "Don't reject me yet, just listen. This is a great chance to make Ethan furious. I guarantee, if you dump him first, he'll go crazy." Marcus's idea seemed to make sense to me. It wasn't that I still loved Ethan, I simply didn't want him to have an easy time. He had hurt me again and again, so why shouldn't I give him a taste of his own medicine and let him experience the pain I felt? "That's not a bad idea, but don't forget, you're a soldier. A military marriage requires a background check. Leave all that to me. You just need to say yes." And so, I vaguely nodded. Under experienced guidance, the background check, premarital health check, photos, and marriage registration all went smoothly. My name was now officially tied to Marcus. Mrs. Collins, please bear with me for the rest of our lives. As we left the county's office, Marcus leaned towards me and said this very seriously, startling me. Marcus, are you trying to get punched? Even now, my mind was still reeling. I felt like something was off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. No, I'm just practicing. Otherwise, it would be a huge waste if I messed up in front of Ethan later. Speaking of which, when do you plan to make our relationship public? I can't wait to see Ethan's face when he finds out the truth. Marcus's reminder brought my thoughts back. Give me the marriage certificate, I want to take a picture. Speaking of the marriage certificate, I was quite annoyed. When the official handed them over, Marcus immediately put both copies into his pocket, saying he was afraid I'd lose mine. I only knew it was red, I hadn't even had a chance to look at the contents. Take me off your blocked list, I'll send you the picture after I take it. See? He wouldn't even let me take a picture. I seriously suspected he wanted to hold my copy hostage. Marcus, tell me honestly, are you trying to trick me? I'm warning you, if you dare to mess with me, I'll tell Uncle to break your legs. After I said that, I suddenly felt a chill down my spine. I noticed Marcus's face had turned dark, and his gaze wasn't friendly. It seemed he was still afraid of Uncle. Good. Now let's see if he still dared to harm me. Just as I was feeling smug, Marcus suddenly swept me into a Princess Carry, scaring me out of my wits. Marcus, what are you doing? Put me down. I can walk myself. I'm hungry. You're hungry, so why are you carrying me? Do I look like your rice? Put me down quickly, I'll die of embarrassment if anyone sees us. I really didn't understand Marcus's thought process. If he was hungry, he should go eat. Carrying me would just use up more energy, wouldn't it? Marcus shook his head, his face etched with a frown, but said nothing more. He didn't put me down, instead carrying me directly to the parking lot. Along the way, Marcus didn't say a word. I wondered if something I said had angered him. When I cautiously glanced at him, he didn't snap at me, but his slightly hurt expression made it seem like I had been the one to pick on him. Men are impossible to figure out, they're so hard to read. Watching the scenery outside the window recede, I don't know when, but I fell asleep. Our marriage was Marcus's spur-of-the-moment idea to help me, so we hadn't informed our parents. At strong insistence, I gave him my phone and let him take himself off my blocked list. But why did his face get darker and darker? It was just unblocking someone, right? I didn't understand, and I didn't respect it. In the end, Marcus only took a picture of the marriage certificate and sent it to me. I still didn't get the physical copy. No worries, having it was enough. It would save me the trouble of searching for it if I ever needed to replace it. At 1:14 p.m., I posted a picture of the marriage certificate and a hand-holding picture on social media. The caption read, "After all this time, it was you." At the same time, I saw Marcus post a message, long planned, just as I wished. The same hand-holding picture, the same marriage certificate. The difference was, he also included a candid photo of me. No doubt, he had secretly taken it while I was sleeping in the car. The sunlight streaming through the window added a hazy beauty. I had to admit, this mischievous kid's photography skills were really good. He clearly took a lot of pictures for others. Wait, if Marcus had a girlfriend, what did that make me? A third party? In that case, how was I any different from Ethan's the one he couldn't have? Marcus, come here. Hearing my voice, Marcus, who was busy in our kitchen, rushed out. What's wrong? Is everything okay? Seeing me silent, just staring at him intently, Marcus panicked. Ignoring his dirty hands, he quickly grabbed 2 tissues to wipe them, then squatted in front of me, looking up. Does your girlfriend know about you marrying me? Girlfriend? Where would I get a girlfriend? In my whole life, I've only known 3 women, your mom, my mom, and you. As for them, they probably know by now. With that, Marcus handed me the phone I had tossed aside. It was Mom calling. Wait, I'll take this call first, then I'll deal with you. Marcus gave me a wry smile, gesturing towards his phone. Similarly, it was Uncle's call. Hello, Mom, Dad, we both answered our phones simultaneously. I didn't know what Uncle said, but I knew Marcus was dead meat. Stella, let me explain. Marcus, who had just hung up, turned around to see me staring at him with a half-smile, which made him blurt out the truth. Alright, begin your performance. Would you believe me if I said I don't know how our parents saw it? I believe nothing you say, Marcus, you big baby. Are you a blockhead? Didn't you think to block them when you posted it? Now look what you've done. I was planning to get back at Ethan, and now it's backfired on me. Honestly, a brilliant opponent is easier than a clueless ally. Get out, I don't want to see you right now. I knew Marcus was all brawn and no brains. He'd been like this since childhood. Every time he caused trouble, I'd get caught up in it somehow. Even though he was usually the one punished, I always had to face our parents with him. Heaven help me, Stella, I've been so smart my whole life, how could I so easily trust this mischievous kid to help me? If nothing unexpected happened, the four elders were already preparing to meet and discuss the marriage. And I couldn't tell them the real reason, or it would be my legs getting broken. Mom had always opposed me chasing Ethan. Now that I'd finally come to my senses and chosen a son-in-law she watched grow up, I could just imagine how her smile would be uncontainable. At this moment, I was a classic example of escaping one trap only to fall into another, truly lost more than I gained. Ultimately, it was all Marcus's fault. I decided that until I found a solution, I was disowning him. Because William was always in the military and Mom's job was incredibly busy, they couldn't always look after me. As a child, I spent half my time in the military housing complex, cared for by the aunts and uncles there, with Aunt looking after me the most. When I was a little older, Mom's work became less demanding, and I didn't have to go to Dad's unit anymore. Marcus, in turn, started coming to our house daily, almost living with us. When I turned 18, Mom gave me this current house as my coming-of-age gift. Mom said girls needed their own space as they grew up. Later, because I spent so much time with Ethan, to avoid Mom's nagging, I simply moved out. I had lived there for all these years. After left, I lay down without eating dinner, but no matter how I tossed and turned, I couldn't fall asleep. Just as I was getting frustrated enough to lose my temper, Ethan's phone call came through. He must have seen the official announcement post. How interesting. It was always me who initiated contact, and today he suddenly contacted me. Without hesitation, I answered the phone. Stella, you fickle woman. How dare you betray me? Even through the phone, I could feel Ethan's fury, and I felt a sense of satisfaction. My frustration instantly dissipated. Since some people were eagerly looking for a scolding, I couldn't disappoint him. So, I unleashed the most satisfying verbal attack of my life. Ha, fickle? You truly only speak ill. What's with the verbal diarrhea? This is called giving him a taste of his own medicine, you idiot. You don't even know how to use words. To be honest, I was happy from the bottom of my heart when you stood me up that day. You have bad character, a sour tongue, an ugly face, and no money. If my prime youth were truly tied to a scumbag like you, what would be the point of my life? After saying that, I hung up the phone with a snap, not caring about Ethan's reaction. My mood was much better now. I wasn't annoyed anymore. But I needed to go eat something delicious to replenish my energy. From what I knew of Ethan, he was used to my years of devotion. Whether he loved me or not, he wouldn't let things go easily. I was about to head out when I suddenly remembered that Marcus had been busy in the kitchen all afternoon. I walked into the kitchen and saw a table laden with dishes. There were finished dishes and some half-prepared ones, but without exception, they were all my favorites. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would never have believed that the privileged kid who only knew how to boil water could cook such excellent dishes. It seemed Dad hadn't lied, the military really didn't tolerate idlers. However, an aunt usually cooked for us, but today, because Marcus was around, I had given her the day off. It was a well-known fact that I was a disaster in the kitchen. Now, I had only two choices, eat cold food, or order takeout. Hesitantly, I chose to call Marcus. Yes, he was now my legally married husband, it was perfectly reasonable to ask him to cook. I'm hungry. Open the door. Honestly, I wasn't sure if Marcus would be angry with me. But as soon as I sent the text message, he replied instantly. I genuinely hadn't expected him to wait at the door for so long. It seemed the military wasn't all powerful after all. See? His brain still wasn't fully developed, he was as clumsy as he was as a child, waiting outside in the cold instead of going home. When I opened the door, I feigned anger. Are you stupid? Why didn't you go home? What if I left and you couldn't find me? For some reason, the moment I saw Marcus, the empty space in my heart felt instantly filled. His words almost made me cry. To avoid embarrassing myself in front of him, I fled back to the bedroom. Hurry up and come in. I'm angry, and your punishment is to cook for me. Okay, it's my fault. I accept the punishment. Marcus was quick and efficient. In no time, a table full of dishes was set before me. Just looking at the presentation, I was already mesmerized. My stomach, ever so uncooperative, rumbled at the opportune moment, making me so embarrassed I wanted to disappear. Just as we were about to start eating, the doorbell rang. Marcus gestured for me not to move and got up to answer it himself. Why are you here? The person at the door was Ethan. Seeing open the door, his tone was very unfriendly. Marcus didn't humor him, responding with immediate sarcasm. I should be asking you that, cousin. Why are you at my house late at night instead of staying at the hospital with the one you couldn't have? What do you mean your house? This is clearly, wait, Marcus, don't tell me Stella really married you. Stella, get out here. It seemed Ethan truly didn't know about Marcus and me, or perhaps, he simply didn't care. As for the official announcement that didn't show my face, he definitely only saw my part of it. Finally, Ethan was manually silenced and dragged away by Marcus. As left, he didn't forget to turn back and explain to me, wife, you go ahead and eat. I'll be out for a bit, I'll be right back. That one word, wife, undoubtedly confirmed that I was a married woman, and Ethan's face completely lost all color. I don't know what Marcus said to Ethan that night, but after that, Ethan never bothered me again. However, he sent countless phone calls and text messages every day, questioning and blaming, but never offering an explanation. Initially, I would occasionally glance at them and sometimes accidentally answer his calls. Later, I simply deleted and blocked him. He stubbornly tried various numbers, and I blocked each one. To this day, I still can't figure out if my brain was rusted through back then. What did I ever see in Ethan? Besides his face, which was barely passable, he was truly worthless. Thanks to Marcus's terrible idea, the Ethan situation was temporarily resolved, but my parents were giving me a huge headache. Both sets of parents had reached a consensus regarding our marriage, engagement by the end of the year, and a wedding in the spring when everything blossomed. It was supposed to be an act, so how did I end up getting truly entangled? Marcus was due to return to the military in 2 days. I wondered if I should exchange the marriage certificate before he left. That day, Marcus came home as usual to cook for me. After a moment of hesitation, I voiced my thoughts. The situation is resolved. Let's exchange the marriage certificate. No, Marcus rejected my suggestion without a second thought. No? Marcus, what are you thinking? You're not really falling for me, are you? Thinking this, I immediately dismissed the idea in my mind. We had seen each other in diapers and knew all each other's embarrassing stories. If we were truly together, I couldn't imagine how wonderful that picture would be. Marcus didn't answer my question. He simply put the blanched ingredients into my bowl, not touching his own chopsticks. Occasionally, our eyes would meet, and his gaze was full of hurt, with a hint of grievance. What was wrong with this you big baby now? Did I say something wrong? I couldn't figure it out, so I just laid out my thoughts directly. Give me the marriage certificate. We'll go exchange it. Otherwise, once you leave, who knows when you'll be back, and I can't handle our parents alone. Stella, you're so dense. With that, Marcus got up and left. Wait, how did I become dense again? What was going on? Marcus returned to the military that night. It was the first time in so many years that he hadn't come back to me after an argument. I felt like something was on his mind, but since he wouldn't say, I didn't press. I just decided to muddle through for now. A week passed in a flash, and Marcus still hadn't contacted me. My own life returned to normal. I was busy and content every day. Without a man to tie me down, my life was incredibly comfortable. Yet, a sense of unease lingered, as if something was about to happen. One day, just after getting off work, Mom urged me to come home. The moment I walked in, I was stunned by the sight. Our living room was piled high with gifts of all sizes. Dad and Mom were sitting with Uncle and Aunt, and the atmosphere wasn't as relaxed as usual. Dad, Mom, I'm home. Hello, Uncle, Aunt. Aunt. I had always called her Aunt since childhood, but now the word sounded awkward. Stella's back. Come here, my darling, you must be tired. Aunt warmly pulled me to sit beside her, her eyes holding an emotion I couldn't decipher. Stella, we called you back, Todd. Because Uncle and Aunt have something to tell you. Dad spoke as soon as I sat down. His tone was hard to place, whether happy or unhappy. I couldn't help but glance at Aunt, who was holding my hand tightly beside me. Marcus was injured. Upon hearing the news, I nearly fainted. I knew it, with Marcus's personality, no matter how angry he was, he wouldn't have cut contact. I had considered many possibilities, but never this. It turned out that after he left that day, he returned to the military early because he had to go on a mission. Unexpectedly, the enemy was too cunning, and they fell into an ambush. Although they ultimately won, Marcus was critically wounded while covering his comrades, his life hanging in the balance. Marcus's parents had come to apologize to me and my parents, and also to break off the engagement on Marcus's behalf. No wonder two commanders, rarely seen together, were gathered here today, and Aunt, usually so cheerful, was full of sorrow. Most importantly, Marcus, who never let me lose track of him, had been unreachable since that day. Dad, Uncle, I want to see Marcus. Will you please take me to him? Regaining my composure, I cried out, wanting to see Marcus. It was my fault. I shouldn't have angered him that day. If I had just given in to him, would he have been spared? I saw Marcus again at the regional hospital. After passing through layers of verification as a family member, I finally reached him. He was covered in tubes, his face devoid of color. My heart was torn, but I didn't cry. I knew Marcus could hear me, and I didn't want to add to his burden at such a time. Aunt was crying almost uncontrollably, so Uncle had to take her away, leaving me alone in the ward. Marcus, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have made you angry. I understand now, I really do. I'm not dense. I just never realized you loved me. Marcus, I have a secret I haven't told anyone. If you wake up, I'll tell you. But if you dare not wake up, I'll take your wealth and marry someone else, and I won't take care of your parents for you. Anyway, we're not really married, and Uncle and Aunt have already come to my house to break off the engagement. I babbled on and on until the nurse urged me to leave. Whether heard me or not, I wanted to tell him what was in my heart. I had to admit, I did have feelings for Marcus. I just hadn't realized they were romantic feelings before. Or perhaps, many years ago, I had suppressed those feelings. If Elizabeth hadn't told me that day that Marcus had loved me for over a decade, I might never have known. And I might never have understood that my feelings for him were never just those of a sister or a friend. The reason I chased Ethan was partly because I was attracted to his appearance, and another reason was that he had rescued me from an awkward situation once. Looking back now, there was only one reason for everything: he was very similar to Marcus. They were cousins, and their features were quite alike, but had been a mischievous kid since childhood, always getting into trouble, while Ethan was gentle as jade, polite and refined in his interactions. Meeting two boys with such distinct personalities during the blossoming years of first love, anyone would choose the latter. And I was no exception. The agonizing days dragged on, and Marcus showed no signs of waking. Dad and Mom respected my decision and didn't agree to break off the engagement. Uncle and Aunt were deeply grateful. At a time like this, our family not breaking the engagement despite the possibility of me becoming a widow was something most people couldn't do. Child, it's ultimately the Collins family who has wronged you. Aunt embraced me, full of apology. Aunt, whether I am Marcus's wife or not, we are family. I believe Marcus will get better. 3 days later, on the originally scheduled engagement date, Marcus miraculously woke up. Uncle and Aunt saw Marcus, then left the room for us. When saw my tear-filled eyes, He struggled to raise his hand to wipe my tears away. Don't move, I'll do it myself. With that, I roughly wiped my face. I'm sorry. I scared you. Hearing utter those words with difficulty, I burst into tears. The suppression of so many days erupted at that moment. This man, whom I had picked on since childhood, had always protected me in his own way. Even when it was my fault, he always took the blame, always being the first to back down. Due to Marcus's physical condition, the engagement was cancelled. We were already married and didn't care for those formalities. But tenacious vitality exceeded expectations. After more than half a month of treatment, he was finally out of danger. News Eve. News since he joined the military. This time, for the family reunion night, Uncle and Dad also got short leaves. The two families became one. The two fathers cooked, the two mothers helped, I ran errands, and Marcus, due to his injuries, was forcibly kept on the sofa by the mothers, unable to move. News was very lively. However, even the best atmosphere can be spoiled by a mood killer. On New Year's Day, Ethan arrived with his parents, ostensibly to offer News greetings, but every word subtly praised Ethan. Mrs. Elizabeth, look, the two children have been together for many years and are deeply in love. It's inevitable for couples to have minor disagreements. As adults, we shouldn't hold it against them. R has been staring at Stella's photos for the past 2 months. Only when I asked did I realize they had a disagreement. I've already severely criticized Ethan. He's a man, he should give in to Stella. But our Stella should also adjust her temper, don't you agree? Well, it seemed Ethan hadn't told his parents about Marcus and me. Or perhaps, he simply couldn't believe I would leave him. And the engagement date our parents had set for us wasn't announced to friends and family because of Marcus's injury. It was no wonder Aunt was out of the loop. How blind was I back and to think he was a gentle, good man? He was clearly a wolf in sheep's clothing, utterly despicable. Now, knowing that the one he couldn't have had married and had children years ago, he remembered this sucker again. Aunt, I'm already married. Ethan knows this. Didn't he tell you? Married, what? You're married, Stella? Tell me, this is a joke, right? The person you love is clearly our Ethan, how could you marry someone else? Aunt's reaction didn't seem fake. Ethan, that scumbag, was truly capable, he even used his own mother. Ethan, you tell me, is what Stella is saying true or false? Aunt still didn't believe me and turned her gaze to Ethan. I don't know. Stella, she might still be angry with me. Ha, angry. I was very angry. Not only did he string me along for years, news. Slap, I slapped Ethan. Ethan, I wasn't going to bother with you anymore, but since you're so eager to chase me to my home, let's settle all accounts, new and old. What do you mean I'm still angry with you? Do you dare to tell everyone how you treated me all these years? For the sake of the one you couldn't have, you insulted me repeatedly, stood me up, and broke our promise to get married multiple times with different excuses. The most recent time, I waited in the cold wind from morning until afternoon, and you not only didn't apologize but actually accused me of being unreasonable. Ethan, I originally thought you were just hopelessly in love with the one you couldn't have, and I would have respected you as a man. But I never imagined you would have no sense of responsibility or commitment. Someone like you deserves to be cheated on, deserves to be played. I'm stating it again, I'm married. We have no relationship whatsoever. Please stop bothering my life. Now, immediately, take your mother and get out of my house. I was truly infuriated by Ethan. Not because I still loved him, but because I felt my years of blindness and devotion were wasted. I actually chased after someone so irresponsible and worthless for 5 years. It was the shame of my life. Ethan and his mother were chased out of the house by Mom, and I finally caught my breath. But when I turned around, Marcus had, at some point, rolled his wheelchair behind me. When did you get here? I've been here the whole time. I asked guiltily, having forgotten that Marcus had come early to wish Dad and Mom a happy year, but he had gone to the bathroom before Ethan arrived. He probably thought I still had feelings for Ethan or something, and he hadn't come out since. Dad had left early for work, and Mom had also left the living room at some point. Facing's hurt gaze, my brain raced, trying to find a reason to explain. But the more I rushed, the more muddled my mind became. Perhaps seeing my guilt and nervousness, Marcus proactively brought up another topic. This small interlude was quickly forgotten between us. Due to Marcus's injury, his leave was extended significantly. Through this period of time spent together, I could finally face this relationship head-on. Valentine's Day, the annual festival of lanterns. In front of our friends and family, Marcus knelt on one knee and proposed to me. Families reunited, lights glowing warmly. Flowers and love paved my path, exactly like the proposal scene in my dreams. The bridal bouquet was a bunch of white jasmine. Jasmine for you, may you stay forever true. Marcus's abundant love and careful tenderness deeply moved me. The moment I nodded with tears in my eyes, Marcus cried like a child. A strong man, who hadn't cried through blood and tears, nor through beatings and punishments, was now shedding tears at this very moment. The wedding was set for March, the season of spring blossoms. Since both our parents had specialized jobs, and I personally didn't like extravagant celebrations, our wedding only invited close friends and family. As for the annoying ex, he didn't attend for some reason, but sent gifts through his parents. A simple yet romantic icy wedding, witnessed by friends and family, and we officially became a family. Our wedding didn't follow traditional wedding customs, there was no elaborate procession or leaving home. We formed a new small family, yet we still lived within a loving extended family. The younger boy who grew up following me had finally become the strong man who shielded me from life's storms. That summer, 25 years ago, a toddler girl kissed an infant in his swaddling clothes. 25 years later, in early spring, they embraced and kissed amidst friends and family, pledging to spend their lives together. After all the twists and turns, their wish was finally granted. Marcus's side, my wife, Stella, and I grew up together. Though she was a year older than me, she was a crybaby. We met on my 1-month birthday. Stella, still learning to walk, saw me for the first time and planted a slobbery kiss on my face. When we were young, Dad and Mom were very busy with work. Aunt, like the other aunts in the military housing complex, willingly took on the responsibility of looking after Stella. Stella was very well behaved and liked by all the aunts and uncles in the complex, while I was a mischievous kid, younger than everyone else, but constantly getting into trouble. When we were a bit older, Mom retired and returned to civilian work, and we moved back to our own home. When Elizabeth was busy, Mom took turns looking after us. Stella, back home, reverted to her true nature, always getting into or on the verge of getting into trouble. And I, naturally, became her scapegoat. From kindergarten to high school graduation, we were always in the same class, sitting at the same desk. After being together for so long, our behaviors and mannerisms started to mirror each other. In the words of our teachers and classmates, we were more like non-biological twins. I neither confirmed nor denied this, because I knew in my heart that I had never truly thought of her as an older or younger sister. The year I graduated high school, I didn't follow my parents' wishes to attend a military academy. Instead, I chose to apply with Stella to the prestigious university she had long admired. That same year, through my introduction, Stella met my cousin, Ethan. From then on, the love-struck girl flung herself at Ethan like a moth to a flame. After countless rejections, she would cry and beg me to put in a good word for her. Eventually, unable to resist Stella's pleas, I became the matchmaker for their romance. At 19, responding to the nation's call, I joined the military, fulfilling my family's generations-long tradition of military service. During basic training, I was completely cut off from the outside world. After I endured that period and tried to contact Stella again, I found she had blocked me from all her contact methods. Later, through my mom and Stella's mom, I learned Stella was still chasing after Ethan. Ethan, meanwhile, reveled in her pursuit while constantly trampling on her sincere feelings. And so, I orchestrated the reunion between Ethan and the one he couldn't have, Chloe. That girl had married and had children the year after leaving Ethan. Her married life hadn't been fulfilling, and she was looking for a chance to turn back. I made it happen for her. Sure enough, when Ethan learned Chloe was back, he pursued her relentlessly like a madman, completely disregarding Stella's feelings as his official girlfriend. I admit my methods were despicable, but I didn't want Stella to waste her true affections on the wrong person. Even if she ultimately wouldn't choose me, I still wanted the girl I had watched over and protected as she grew up to find someone who would truly cherish her. And so, I continued to watch over her in the role of a younger brother. For 5 years, I never lost track of Stella. Several times when I returned, I couldn't resist wanting to see her, but each time I caught her at her most vulnerable moments. I knew she had a strong personality and was stubborn to a fault. Dad and Mom couldn't do anything with her, so I could only watch over her silently. Behind the scenes, I warned Ethan multiple times, but it had little to no effect. Ethan didn't think he had done anything wrong. And so, Stella stubbornly persisted for 5 years. That day, when I learned Stella and Ethan had scheduled a time to register their marriage for the 3rd time, I panicked. I was afraid they would actually marry, and I would lose my chance forever. Even more, I feared Ethan would stand her up again, and Stella would be devastated. So, I requested leave from my unit and rushed to the county's office ahead of time. Sure enough, that scumbag Ethan stood Stella up again. In the biting wind, my girl waited and waited, but the person she longed for never arrived. Ethan didn't show, but I did. I didn't want Stella to get hurt again. When I walked up to Stella, I had intended to tease her, but she didn't recognize me right away. I told her I needed a bride, and it was from the bottom of my heart. My hope that she would be that bride was also genuinely sincere. Stella's tears flowed like a dam breaking. Her look of utter heartbreak pained my heart immensely, and forgetting all decorum, I pulled her into my embrace. After I reasoned with her and appealed to her heart, Stella agreed to my proposal. With the background check cleared, our parents' approval, and the state issuing our marriage certificate, we officially became husband and wife. I knew my actions were despicable. Taking advantage of someone in their vulnerable state is not what a gentleman does. But aren't people inherently selfish? I loved Stella, and I vowed never to let her down in this lifetime. If one day she grew tired or weary, or if she met someone better, I would step out of her life. Mai has always been free. Even as a wife, she would remain free. I wouldn't restrict her or hold her back. That period in the hospital was my happiest time. I heard all the things Stella said in the hospital. It turned out it was never unrequited love. Mai didn't not love me, she was simply too innocent and naive about matters of the heart. In that moment, I longed to open my eyes instantly and tell her how much I loved her, how I had loved her for so many years. On Year's Eve, at the invitation of Dad and Mom, our 2 families became one and shared a family reunion meal. Our parents' love was a role model for me. I knew that in the future, I had to do even better than our fathers for them to feel confident in trusting their daughter to me. However, there's always someone who has to be a mood killer on a beautiful day. I hadn't expected Aunt and my cousin to show up. My cousin was clearly regretful, but he was too accustomed to his arrogance. There was no apology, no introspection. He tried to get Aunt to stick up for him, even attempting to shift the blame to Stella. Huh. It really takes all kinds, doesn't it? If it weren't for Stella, I would have stormed out long ago. That scumbag, I had no idea he was such a shameless individual. If it hadn't been for me, Stella would never have encountered such an ex who diminished her. If I had been a little braver and more resolute back then, they would never have had that history together. I never expected Stella to take action. She was still the little tyrant I remembered, not holding back at all. Yes, this was the Stella I knew, able to move on and let go, never burdened herself. Her slap severed all ties to the past. As the holiday neared its end, my body was slowly returning to normal. I couldn't wait to tell everyone that I had finally married the girl I had loved for years since childhood. From the proposal to the wedding, I personally oversaw every detail. Aside from the wedding photos and the ceremony itself, which required Stella's presence as the bride, I consulted her on everything else, ensuring she wouldn't have to worry about a thing. According to her preferences, our wedding was simple yet romantic. In the warmth of spring, a lawn wedding, witnessed by numerous friends and family, marked the formation of our new family. There were no traditional wedding customs. Stella didn't have to leave her home. She remained Dad and Mom's little princess. Our new home had 4 loving elders who gave us all their support while also giving us our greatest space. The love destined by a childhood kiss finally found its fulfillment today, 25 years later. The girl I fell for at first sight, after all these twists and turns, was finally back by my side. Thank you, my Stella. Today, with time as our matchmaker and a lifetime as our vow, we begin our years together. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.